I know I couldn't even begin to count the number of LinkedIn profiles that I've looked at, helped optimized, or reviewed over the years with Danger Zone jobs. But one thing I can tell you is that I have seen a lot of profiles that have the same issues. And I want to share with you the most common ones and some ideas on how to fix them. So it's really easy when you're creating your own profile to get it wrong. And it's basically because of being unable to objectively think about what you should include and what you should leave out. Or it could be that you're not strong enough with grammar and spelling, proofreading, that sort of thing to make sure there aren't any mistakes in your profile. And also it could be not knowing how to research, then use the right keywords so you show up at the top of LinkedIn searches. Little things like these can start to add up. But I want to share with you the most common ones. So one way to stand out is going to be to complete all the lessons in this course. And then when you've done your new profile, you should have somebody look at it who knows you professionally, and then have somebody who doesn't know you professionally, a friend, a colleague, whatever, have somebody else look at it and just see what jumps out at them. So the first one I see, especially in this context that we're talking about with the defense industry, is assuming the profile reader knows the military or contracting, defense companies, and so on. Even though they may even work for them, they still might not know enough about them that if you assume things, it'll go right over their head. That could be things like military jargon and acronyms. What military jobs have, what duties and responsibilities and so forth. What's taught in military schools. BNOC, ANOC, PNOC, etc. They may not know what you're talking about. And then also why certain medals or ribbons were awarded, what they mean. You have to remember who you're talking about here. One is recruiters or human resources staff, and the other is the people you're networking with based on things like LinkedIn will throw up possible connections based on education or common work experience, common companies, and maybe even common military background. So the solution is to assume that anybody who reads your profile will not know about the military or defense, so that you have to kind of spell it out like you're talking to somebody with no military understanding. And one thing that you can do is to use a military skills translator, and that takes your military background and offers suggestions for how to word it in a civilian context. And all you got to do is Google military skills translators. There's a lot of them out there. Another problem is people who used a non-U.S. LinkedIn address. And that could have been because they were overseas when they set up their profile. But in any case, if you sign up for LinkedIn while you're overseas, you could end up with an address from another country. And this means a recruiter may not think you're available for a position. So, for example, if your profile says you're in Germany and they're looking for somebody for Iraq or whatever it might be, they might exclude you, or you may not even show up in their search results. People who live in the U.S. and other countries have a public profile URL that begins with www. But members who live in different countries that have a public URL that begins with a 2-letter code based on the country they list on their profile, these are the ones that are going to have some problems. So, for example, if you created your profile while you were in Afghanistan, your public profile URL could be beginning with an AF. And one of the things that you have seen, I'm sure, is that you type in somebody's name or you're looking for search results for something, and somebody's LinkedIn profile comes up in Google results, but it's in a different language. So I've seen lots of people who have started their profile while they were in Kuwait or Saudi or someplace like that. And in Google, their search results come up in Arabic. So the solution is, if you have that, if you set up your profile where you were in a different country, or you used a different country because you thought it would be important to show, for example, Iraq or Kuwait or whatever, You can go under your privacy and settings and change the country. It's very easy to do. Then the old URLs, the old address, will still automatically redirect to the new one. The third big problem I see is you need to rethink your picture. And you got to remember that LinkedIn is not Facebook. This is not the time to be casual. This is the time to be professional. So I've seen lots of examples like this. They'll take a picture from their experience overseas or in the military, and they'll cut out a section of it and try to use that as their profile image, and it just looks wrong. So remember, this site is LinkedIn is business-oriented, and your standards have to be really high. So a good solution is to think passport, for example, head and shoulders in front of a light background. So it helps you look professional. Or think interview. What would your interview attire be on a day when you went for a job interview? How would you look? Try to convey that. Another problem is not having LinkedIn connections with defense company recruiters. So if you're not connected to recruiters or connected to someone who is, your profile may not come up in the recruiter's search results when he starts looking for people. So take the lesson about how to network effectively and how to stand out. Take them to heart. LinkedIn makes it easy for you to try connecting with recruiters. All you have to do is type in the company that you're interested in and the word recruiter, and you'll get a whole list of them. And finally, not following companies you apply to. This is a big problem because most people don't even realize that it matters. So for example, 90% of recruiters interviewed said LinkedIn is one of the places they go to vet you. And when they do, they go to see if you've taken the time to even bother to look at their company or learn about what's going on with them. All the recruiter needs to do is scroll down to the bottom of your profile, and under interest, it'll show that you're not following their company. So the solution is really easy. Before you apply to any jobs, make sure you add them as a company you follow. It's really simple. You type in their company name under interests, and then just click follow.